Hello, this is the Watchdog, and welcome back to Fun with Watches. If watches weren't fun, you'd only need one. Today we're going to review the Addiesdive AD2095. Let's start out with the wrist check. I'm wearing the Sukume 2433, and Greg was wearing my Lume Deep Dive. Grogu said Master Skywalker asked Ben Solo why he was smoking in the droid's room. He said he started smoking to impress this girl he found digging in their garbage dumpster named Rey. Master Skywalker said, "I suppose you think she's into bad boys?" Ben said, "Well, she did give me her phone number." Obi-Wan's Force Ghost said, "That's no phone number. It's her midichlorian count." Alright, let's get this watch open. Comes in this typical Addiesdive box. And I really like these plastic containers. They stack really nice, and they're just do a good job of protecting. They're not that heavy, so it doesn't cost that much more to ship them. So just all around a good case. So here is the watch. And it's a pretty good looking watch. I really like the looks of it. Another Addiesdive on my channel. This is a 2-register VK64 powered Mecha Quartz chronograph on a double pass canvas strap that I cannot call a NATO strap due to trademark shenanigans. Several months ago, Addiesdive reached out to me asking me if they could send me this watch to review. But after I agreed, they said they were out of them and sent me the AD2099 instead. So I ended up purchasing this AD2095, so this is not a sponsored video. The 2-register chronograph is very popular as it gives you the visual appeal of a chronograph with the subdials, but not the clutter of a 3-register chronograph. This is a fairly small watch for a chronograph at 38 millimeters. Chronographs often have a racing theme such as the Speedmaster, but this AD2095 has no tachymeter. This watch comes in only 3 different colorways. I chose the blue, which is more of a turquoise blue with a white dial and chapter ring. There's also a beige with the same shade of blue for the chapter ring and subdials. If you aren't into color, there's a reverse panda that has one of them bond straps. Unfortunately, the reverse panda doesn't have a panda counterpart. The watch is 38 millimeters if you measure at the case, 36.4 if you measure at the bezel. It's 45.4 millimeters lug to lug, and as you can see, those lugs are drilled. It's 15 millimeters thick, including this dome box crystal. And that's if you also include the double pass strap. It's 12.6 millimeters without the strap. Has a 20 millimeter lug width, and of course, being a double pass, there's no taper, and weighs 59 grams on the supplied canvas strap. The bezel is just plain and smooth, and there is no tachymeter on this watch. And on the inner chapter ring, you have minute markers with minute counters at the 5s. Then you have the dial. The dial's got this turquoise blue color with the Addiesdive name up top in script. Then it says 100 meters, 330 feet on the bottom. And then we have the baton indices with a double at the 12. We have stick hands. And we have a date at the 6 with a border. And then we have the subdials. On the right here, we have the 24-hour subdial. On the left, we have the chronograph minute counter. And there is no running second on this watch because it's the VK64. The large second hand is the chronograph hand. Just press the top pusher, and it ticks 5 times a second. Press it again to stop. And then you get an instant snapback and not a fast rewind because this is the VK64 Mecha Quartz. The one problem though with that instant snapback, it means if you ever have to pull the chronograph hand, you have to get a brand new one because if you put it back on, it will slip when you reset it. Then we have a sign push-pull crown. You only get 100 meters of water resistance, so it's not a screw down. And then the pushers have this little knurling on the top, but not on the sides. So if you take this in the water, keep in mind that there's nothing to lock the pushers. And if you press the pushers while in the water, water could get into the watch. And then we have the crystal. The crystal is mineral glass, not sapphire. And it's a box dome crystal. And I think it's double dome because I don't see any distortion. And it has AR coating, so there's not a lot of reflection. Of course, glass doesn't reflect nearly as much as sapphire. Then we have the case. The case is nice. It's brushed on the sides. It does have a polished chamfered edge. And it's just big enough for the watch. It does not any bigger than it need be. And then it does have these lugs that curve down, letting the watch wear a little bit smaller. And then we have the case back. We can take a look at it. Case back has the Addiesdive Sea Hunter logo on the back. And it says stainless steel sport diving, waterproof, 100 meters, Addiesdive. Now it says diving, not divers, with the apostrophe S, so that's good, because if it said it with the apostrophe S, that's against the rules, because that would imply ISO 6425 certification. And I wish though it didn't say waterproof, because it's not really waterproof, it's water resistant. Underneath the case back is the VK64 Mecha Quartz movement. This is pretty standard 2-register movement in watches in this price range. The main issue I have with it is there's no running second hand, and I really miss having a running second hand. And since it's battery powered, if this was an automatic mechanical watch, you could just leave the chronograph hand ticking and it would act as a running second hand. But if you do that with a VK64, you're going to be changing the battery quite often. And then we have the strap. The strap is a double pass. I can't call it a NATO strap because NATO is a registered trademark. And how that ever was allowed, I'll never know, because it's idiotic, because they registered the trademark about 20 years after it was in common use. So whoever allowed that was either really, really stupid or more nefarious reasons. But it's got a nice look to it. It's pretty well built. I mean, it's not wonderful, but it's well built. No signed hardware though, but at least it matches the case. And it seems plenty long. Here's the watch on my 7.5-inch wrist. It looks nice. It wears nice. I have 8 notches left, so you could wear this if you had a huge wrist. But I did have to do the little fold. Otherwise, it looks dumb. Here's the watch on a Vario double pass strap. I'm not sure if that looks right because of the camouflage color. Just doesn't go with that blue. So this would look much better if the watch was green or something. So not a fan of this look. Here's the watch on a Vario Italian leather strap. Now that looks much better. I like that a lot. Plus the watch isn't near as chunky without that double pass underneath it. And here it is on a more vintage leather. I really like that. I think of all the different straps I just showed it to you on, I think this is my favorite. It really goes good with that dial color. And here it is on a black Tropic strap. I don't think black looks that well with it. I think it goes much better with brown. Here we are in the Lume room. When it comes to Lume and sub $100 AliExpress watches, you usually don't do much better than Addiesdive. As we see up the time, we see a nice blue glow of BGW9, but everything is fairly inconsistent, as some things are much brighter than others. Unfortunately, the minute hand is weaker than the hour hand, and also weaker than the 2 and the 4 o'clock baton indices. This isn't horrible Lume, but disappointing for an Addiesdive. What I like about this watch, it looks and wears nice. I do like this dome box crystal with the AR coating. I like the fact that it has drilled lugs, so if I want to put it on a strap, it's very easy. And I do like this fun colored double pass strap. What are my gripes and groans? It's a little small. Would have preferred a 40 to a 38. It has disappointing lume for an Addiesdive. It's not awful lume, but it's definitely not good. I wish they had a panda colorway. And it's not Addiesdive's fault, but I wish Seiko would come out with a 2-register Mecha Quartz chronograph with a running second hand instead of the 24-hour sub-dial. Do I recommend this watch? Sure, even though it's a bit small, this is a fun, colorful watch that looks and wears great. I've enjoyed my time with it. Well, thank you for watching my review of the Addiesdive AD2095, and I'll be back with another review. Be sure and like and subscribe to my channel. And if you like this watch, be sure to use my affiliate link and I'll get a tiny commission, but those tiny commissions do add up, and that's how I'm able to get a few of the nicer watches on my channel. And I'd like to thank my Members Choice members. There you are. Last time I looked, there was 12 of you, and the Members Choice watch is still for sale. Bye.